Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Sumner County Sports Show, powered of course by Brewster's Real Ice Cream. We've got a lot to get into today, but before we do that, we got to talk about that tasty treat. Of course, talking about Brewster's Real Ice Cream, fresh homemade ice cream, never deep frozen, with 150 flavors, rotated daily. Also got fresh baked waffle cones that I hear are pretty good. And if you're a vegan, they have options for you as well, made with real oat milk, 14 different flavors, located in the Lowe's parking lot next to Zaxby's in Hendersonville. Stop by for that delicious treat today and tell them Womble sent you. Okay, a lot to get into today, but really, to be honest with you, this is a Thanksgiving episode. Obviously, Thanksgiving on Thursday. So we're going to spend a little time today talking about what we're thankful for, talking about our favorite foods to eat on Turkey Day, and just being grateful for all that we have. So a little later on in the show, we're going to bring Justin in to do just that. But outside of that, today's really about Beech High School football. They play in the Class 6A semifinals on Friday at Bartlett High School in Memphis, and just being in this position for Beech is I guess I'm struggling for the words that I'm looking for here, but it's not expected every year for them to have this deep playoff run, but they've certainly done a lot of winning on Shackle Island. So you're going to hear from Anthony Crabtree a little bit later on in the show. We talk about just that. I mean, we talk about the expectations at Beech. We talk about the senior class. We talk about the win at Cane Ridge. Keys to the game at Bartlett. I recently just wrote a story and posted it on mainstreetpreps.com, kind of highlighting this interview a little bit about them Beech football leaning on maturity for a deep playoff run. And again, you can check that out on mainstreetpreps.com. We'll have it in the Hendersonville Standard newspaper as well. But Coach Crabtree gives a lot of insight on just I guess what makes this team tick, if you will. It's the maturity, and I won't get into everything that he said because we want you to listen to the interview. We want you to read the story. Now, the interview does contain a little bit more information than what the story has, just on other things, but definitely want you to check out both of those things. So really, really excited for you to do that. So, Justin, with that, we are going to welcome in Beech head coach Anthony Crabtree to the show again, talking about just the success of this year, being in this point, the senior class and kind of their leadership, getting them to now. He talks about his quarterback, his offensive weapons, his defensive playmakers. So a really good interview. Justin, let's roll the clip. Here is Beech head coach Anthony Crabtree just ahead of his Class 6A final game against Bartlett.
Super fun to coach. They're a phenomenal group of young men who they just kind of refuse to lose. After losing the first week of the season at Farragut, I tell people, our guys didn't flinch. They came back, went to work on Monday, knew we had some things we had to get better at, some things we had to correct. But they show up every day. They work hard. We have some really smart football players in this senior class. We've been able to do some things, make some adjustments in games, do some things that sometimes you can't do if your team's not as mature. I think that's one of the things that makes this senior class so special is not only do they give unbelievable physical effort, but, they give good mental effort and are able to make a lot of adjustments during the game. They're going to be missed. They're so much fun to coach. I'm super excited for, what they've been able to do and the opportunity they have in front of them this week. And, being 48 minutes away from having a chance to play for another gold ball is just a phenomenal achievement from these guys in 6A football.
A lot of different places I could go here, Coach Crabtree, but, I want to go all the way back to last year's quarterfinal loss at Hendersonville. I remember you looked at your team and you told them, next year they got to come to us. And, maybe you didn't meet Hendersonville in the playoffs, but, in that talk, I remember looking at the senior class and kind of piggybacking off of what you're just saying, but what did you see from them in the off season that led you to believe that this year could be a special year?
Well, all of our offensive linemen that are starters right now are all seniors. We're losing 8 starters on defense this year, and we're going to lose 9 starters on offense. So, that's a lot of people to lose in one year. And, the flip side to that is when you have that many seniors, that a lot of those guys have played a lot of football for us. When you're that experienced, if they're mature and if they have a good chemistry amongst them as a group, those are going to be your better football teams. And that's just kind of, where we are this year with a lot of those guys, being on that team last year. Yeah, we lost some phenomenal football players, but at the same time, we got back a core group of players that, have lots of experience, are, very determined, very smart, have worked their tail off, put the time in, the effort in to be where they are right now. And this don't happen every year. It's going to be every 3 or 4 or 5 years, hopefully, that you have a chance to have a group like we have right now, that has a chance to maybe, make a run and at least get to the semifinals like we have this year.
What's taking you by most surprise with this year's team?
I think a couple of things. One is just their determination. This group is very, very determined not to lose football games. Whatever, we tell them they have to do, they do their best to make sure that happens, to give themselves a chance to win. And then, I'm not sure I knew we were going to be as mature as I feel like these guys are on the field. They do such a good job of making adjustments, in-game adjustments. And that's a huge part of, being able to win some football games, is being able to make some in-game adjustments. And like I said, I just contribute that to the maturity of our football team.
I've asked you about it before, but it feels like another great time to bring it up just because of how relevant it is. And I know you got a lot of really good coaches on your staff. Coach Crabtree, please don't misguide what I'm about to just singling out. But, you bring in a new defensive coordinator this year and Coach Bill Alexander, did a great job for you. But now Coach Brent Russell has stepped in and done a marvelous job as well. Just how has that transition been so seamless?
Coach Russell is an extremely smart football coach. He knows and understands a lot of football. He came in and, we had a plan. We had a scheme we were going to run. Kind of after doing it for a little while, kind of looked at it and thought maybe it wasn't the best fit for us right now. So decided to kind of tweak it a little bit and, move some people around a couple of spots. But, he just took what we have and fit it into what we wanted to try to do schematically, and has been able to make some great adjustments and add some things to our defense that we haven't done in the past, and been able to give some different looks and different pressures and different things like that. He's just been very adaptable to what we're trying to do and what our kids can do, and take his knowledge of what we want to do and what he knows how to do and make it fit. And he does a great job of game planning for our opponents, knowing what they like to do and what we've seen them do on film and how we want to try to defend it, and getting our kids to understand how we want to try to defend it. And that goes back to, we can do a few more things because this group is more mature. They understand things better. So he's just, he came in, picked up, has done an exceptional job of leading our defense.
To go back to the Cane Ridge game before we springboarded into Bartlett, you guys dominated that football game, and, the score kind of predicts that. I guess what mismatches were you able to find on film that you were able to exploit?
Well, I don't think we really found many mismatches on film. It was more of getting into the game and, saying, hey, I think if we line up this way, I think maybe we can do this on offense. If we line up in this formation, when we use this motion, this is how they're adjusting. So maybe we can run this play. And like I said, being able to make those adjustments with your players is a big deal because every team can't do that. So we have a lot of things that we work offensively throughout the week. I mean, our scheme is just built formationally and motions and shifts and that kind of thing. So when we get into the game, we feel like surely there's one play we can find that we can run and get 5 yards, or there's one pass play that we can run and have a chance to high successful chance of percentage of completing the pass. And that's just kind of the way we approach it offensively. Defensively, we went in and, felt like maybe we had some mismatches. But our defense played their tail off. We gave them a couple different looks and 2 or 3 different coverages and tried to keep them confused with our alignments and our coverages and, then bringing different pressures. And, I think it kind of got them a little out of whack. And then when we were up 21-7, they kind of got away from their game plan a little bit. And, that helped us a little bit as well.
I think your backs, your special back, or your athletes, I should say, are well documented. But one guy I want to look at, Justice Law. I mean, this is a kid, a junior that steps in this year, first year, and has probably done everything and more that you could have asked of him. I guess from your own eyes, how good has he been at that quarterback position?
Phenomenal young man. Really good young football player. Went to Farragut, started first game of the year. He's never started a varsity high school football game before. So he was a little nervous, struggled a little bit. But, as the season has gone on, he has just gotten better and better and better. And he's made some really good plays, made some really good decisions at quarterback. He does a great job of managing our team, managing our offense. I'm extremely excited for this young man and what he's going to be able to do in the future.
Let's look at Bartlett a little bit. They're obviously a really good team, as you well know. Got really good quarterback, is kind of dual threat, and good running backs, good receivers, has a good defense. I guess you throw all that out, and what's your without giving it away, but how do you just combat the offensive prowess that they have on Friday night?
Well, I think you have to continue to make them snap the football. You can't give up long runs. You can't give up pass plays. Let them throw the ball over your head, deep balls for touchdowns. You have to minimize the number of explosive plays they have and make them continue to snap the ball in order to have a chance to score. They're big. Their offensive line's really big. They're athletic on the edges at their skill positions. Quarterback's a really good player, like you said. We're just going to have to be really, really physical and try to win the battle at the line of scrimmage, and then just continue to have them have to snap the ball again in order to drive the ball down the field and score. Offensively, we're going to have to figure out a way to get first downs. We need to try to maintain the ball, win the possession, time of possession, and then, turnovers are going to be huge. We need to win the turnover battle. But, we're just going to have to be physical and win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football.
I got to ask you about this, Coach Crabtree, because I didn't have the chance to. But, a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs on Veterans Day, nonetheless, Darius Johnson was surprised with his mom being able to come first. He said first time he had seen her in 9 months. I can only imagine the jolt that gave him. But do you feel like that maybe gave your team a jolt just to, have one of their brothers experience and have his mom come back?
Well, I think they were excited for him, like you had said, hadn't seen his mom in 3 or 4 months. Not exactly sure how long it had been. But yeah, it's for her to be here and it be Veterans Day and, get to celebrate that and him get to see her and her lead us on the field. And, all of our guys were just happy for him and happy for his family. And, I'm sure it gave him a little bit of a jolt to be ready to play.
You know, I know you all your attention is on this game, but it's probably not hard not to think about this. Your last year in Class 6A, so I guess you guys don't need any extra added motivation, I wouldn't think. But is there something to that this is your last go around for at least a couple years in the big class that maybe you want to show well? I mean, just kind of any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, we're just, we're super excited to be where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, to be playing 6A football and be in the semifinals and be playing on Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, that's a big deal. There's only 4 teams in the state of Tennessee in 6A football that are still practicing today. And we get to be one of those 4. And, I think our guys understand that. They understand how big a deal that is, year in, year out. It's our seniors' first time to get to experience this as varsity football players, so it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for your underclassmen to see and experience what this is like, so that they have something to strive for, and once they get there, they know what it feels like. They know what it takes to get there. So no, it doesn't matter if it's 5A or 6A from a standpoint. I mean, that's always your goal, is to be playing on Thanksgiving weekend and have a chance to, make it back to a state championship. But, it doesn't matter if it's 5A or 6A, but being in 6A is special. There's no doubt about it.
Last question, I'll let you go with this, but regions have come out, region pairings have come out for next year, and it looks like a region of death, Coach Crabtree. Just any early thoughts on next year, or are you just kind of putting that to the back burner until this year's over?
Well, I haven't spent a lot of time on it. Just know who's in our region and know, it is going to be tough. Whoever comes out of our region makes it to the playoffs and comes out of our region it's going to be, it's just, somebody's going to be beat up when the regular season's over, based on who we're having to play in region. And then you're going to turn around and there's a good chance you're going to have to play them again in the second and third round. So whoever makes it to the semis next year is definitely going to be battle tested. There's no doubt about that.
All right. So we're back. Maybe that interview cut off there for a little bit at the end, but you didn't miss much. I believe he ended the interview with saying, with whoever comes out and makes it to the semifinals next year will have earned it. So really appreciate Coach Crabtree jumping on. A lot of good stuff ahead of their Class 6A semifinal Friday night at Bartlett. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, but when we do, before we do that, Justin, let's talk about that sweet treat. So if you could bring up the Brewster's website if possible. Well, there's the QR code and the address, 350 East Main Street in Hendersonville, in the Lowe's parking lot next to Zaxby's. Brewster's Real Ice Cream will hopefully be opening up soon. Just drove by the other day. They still got to get some concrete poured in their main parking lot, but the drive-through is done, the inside is done. So I know they're waiting on the gas company from the city to come in and kind of install some lines before they can drop that cement, but should be open here hopefully in the next coming weeks. And speaking of that, they're actually now hiring for crew leaders and ice cream makers. They offer a fun team atmosphere with growing opportunities. You can visit their Facebook or apply online at brewsters.com/jobs. Brewster's Real Ice Cream, featuring fresh homemade ice cream made right in the store each day, offering 150 different flavors that are rotated daily. They also offer a full line of vegan ice cream made with oat milk and no sugar added fat-free options. Be sure to stop by 350 West Main Street in Hendersonville. Tell them Womble sent you.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Run your hands, sir. You are right now?
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Brewster's Real Ice Cream features fresh homemade ice cream made right in our store each. Welcome back to the final 10 minutes of the Sumner County Sports Show today. Of course, powered by Brewster's Real Ice Cream, fresh homemade ice cream that is never deep frozen, fresh baked waffle cones. So make sure you stop by for that delicious treat from a brand that continues to set the high standards. All right, Justin, we're going to close out the show with two things. First off, we're going to do our player of the week, and then we're going to get into a little bit of Thanksgiving love. But first off, highlighting JP Courtney, Beech High School senior. JP was everywhere, and he has been all season for Beech this year. He's got over 1,200 yards rushing, double-digit touchdowns. Last week against Cambridge in their 35-7 win, he carried the football 15 times for 142 yards and a score. He also caught a 41-yard touchdown and made 4 tackles on defense in the win. So JP Courtney was a standout for Beech last Friday, and he is our Main Street Preps Sumner County Player of the Week this week. If you want to vote for JP, be sure to head on over to mainstreetpreps.com and click the link to vote for him. Okay, Justin, let's get into our Thanksgiving talk. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Office is looking good today.
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, it's not too bad out here. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just very thankful, Justin, which
go.
is a perfect transition to the best of Thanksgiving for us. And so just pretty simple, nothing complex, nothing to really rack your brain over. But I'd like to go over maybe this is what you're putting on your plate the first go around, and then maybe something you're thankful for afterwards. So this is your first go around, and I'm gonna add the stipulation that you can't choose both ham and turkey. You have to make a decision between one. This is your first go around, so this is your A1 plate. Justin, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
So you can go first, but so for the stipulations of it, you're saying what my first thing I get on my plate, or the whole plate?
The whole plate. So what do you feel? What are you putting on the plate for the first time you sit down at the table? And you can't choose both ham and turkey. You got to choose at least one. Does that sound fair?
Yep. Sounds great.
Okay. All right. So with my main, are we going first off main, M-A-I-N or M-A-N-E? Are we going main? Like main?
We're going to Maine?
Main. So I had a tough time with this one because I used to not be a big turkey guy. But then something happened recently and I really started to enjoy turkey more. I don't know if it started to get more juices filled into it or what, but several years ago, it kind of really turned for me. Turkey did.
Like in a bad way?
No, in a good way.
Oh, good way. Gotcha.
Maybe it was adding gravy. Maybe it was the cranberry sauce. I don't know, but something happened. And so my main is turkey, and with a little bit of gravy.
Right.
And then on my sides, I think they're pretty. Honestly, I think they're pretty universal in the South. But I'm going mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, green beans, croissants, dressing, corn casserole, and deviled eggs.
That's a solid plate. That's a hefty plate.
And then I think my number one dessert is sweet potato pie.
Man, I just had to talk with somebody recently. And this is a hot take, spicy. So just beware. I'm not a huge sweet potato guy. Actually, could argue that I don't like it.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of people that feel that way. Listen, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie are interchangeable for me during the Thanksgiving holiday. So if I show up to your house and man, Zach, I didn't make a sweet potato pie, but I have a pumpkin pie. That will suffice. So
gotcha.
and then I think you got to throw in banana pudding as an honorary member of the dessert on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. That's a solid plate, man. That's a good meal, solid meal.
Thank you. What about you? What about you?
So I don't know if you remember, but when we talked on Mornings on Main Street, the show we also have at 10 a.m. or we did at 10 a.m. last week. Zach was gracious enough to fill in as host. I mentioned that as of recently, the past couple years, my parents have been cooking prime rib for the main course, but this year we are having turkey. So I'll not be so snooty for this segment.
So bougie.
Right, exactly. So after our caviar, we have so I go and grab a few slices of turkey. And by a few, probably I always have a hard time like wondering like, is this too much? Do I have enough? Anyways, that's beside the point. I also grab mashed potatoes, classic for sure. Stuffing, definitely. Corn on the cob, green beans.
Hey, there you go.
And if we have Hawaiian rolls that are cooked just a little bit with butter on them, I'm grabbing as many as I physically can, to the demise of other people's plates because I love it. Man. I seriously I love those things. But yeah, that's pretty much the main, and a side salad, I believe, is what's on the menu. So
you have to throw the side salad in just so you feel okay about.
Right.
What's your number one dessert? No, your number one dessert. I remember from you telling me last week, but for the audience today, what's your number one dessert?
I really don't remember what I told you, but I doubt it was this. It was so for like meal desserts, like home cooked meals. I love turtle pie. Have you ever had that? Yeah.
No, and I apologize. I got you mixed up with somebody else. You did not tell me earlier this week what your number one dessert was. My apologies.
Gotcha. No, you're good. Like in general, though, Baskin Robbins ice cream cake is my favorite.
Baskin Robbins ice cream cake. Are they serving that at your house for Thanksgiving?
No. This is just for Universal. Like if you ever want to surprise me on my birthday.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, fair enough. And then one thing, Justin, if you can, one thing you're grateful for. I'll go first, Justin.
Okay.
I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for the hard work that you provide me each and every week, as well as our other shows. So your hard work is not unnoticed, Justin.
Thanks, Zach. I'd like to extend that onto you as well. I know that.
Oh, okay.
Just because we're a team. No, for real though. It's not lost on anyone else or me especially. Same thing. Especially you coming in, being a team player last week, filled in for a whole week of shows with literally no questions asked. So, no, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the Titans as well. So,
Justin,
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, seriously, Mike Vrabel. No kidding. Justin, what's better? Do you think Turkey Day, like the day of like eating on Thursday, or is the leftovers the next day?
Ooh, man. That's a really great question because the leftovers, they last for a while. So it's not just one day, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going to say the leftovers because if there weren't any leftovers during the meal, it'd kind of be a little sad because you're never going to see it again type thing, you know?
Yeah. No, listen, I agree with that. You can make turkey and ham sandwiches for like a month after Thanksgiving. And like my instance, because I'm married, I get Thanksgiving twice. I get my parents' house and then my in-laws as well. So it's a very full day for me. So
you do it the same day?
I do the same day. Yeah, same day. So it's
that is awesome. That's legendary.
I make sure to wear the sweatpants on Thanksgiving. That's for sure.
And they have that thing. Or sorry, yeah, go ahead. My fault.
No, I was just gonna say that was gonna do it for today's show. Really want to thank everybody for stopping by. Want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank Coach Anthony Crabtree for jumping in today to talk about his team ahead of their big game on Friday night. Listen, this will do it for the Sumner County Sports Show. If no one's told you today, please pay it forward. Be nice to somebody. Hey, you never know what they're going through. So just lend a smile, and maybe you can be that positive light. Have a good one.